Jamie Hutchings speaking.
Jamie, it's Josh Lee here. How are you?
Yes, I was expecting your call.
I love it. Alright, here's an interview with Jamie Hutchings. Let's do this. Congratulations on your album, BEDSIT. It's really quite brilliant. I really like it. But before we delve into that, mate, just want to ask you a couple of questions about music in general. You've been in bands of Blue Bottle Kiss, Infinity Broke, and what was the other one? With Pete Fenton.
The Tall Grass.
The Tall Grass, yeah. So with all this music that you've been doing, mate, let's start from the start. So what actually got you into music?
I liked listening to it, I guess, and then I used to hear songs in my head when I was a kid, I guess, but I didn't really play an instrument. And then once I started playing drums in bands at school and so forth, I'd always hear things like that. I could always hear songs or hear ideas, but I didn't have the ability to play them on guitar. So then that's when I started sort of just hacking away at the guitar. It was just a desire to create music. I wasn't too worried about being at the front of the band or anything. I just really wanted to write songs. It was just an inclination. So that's kind of where it started. And then once I got to playing guitar and singing, I guess I wanted to make the kind of music I wanted to hear. You know, you'd hear a band and you'd like it, but you'd think, oh, if it was just a bit like this or a bit like that. It's like you wanted to create your favorite dish. So you'd kind of want to put all those elements together to make the kind of music that you'd be excited by yourself. I think that's the main kind of creative motivation when you first start doing it.
Yeah, that makes sense. With so you've had relatively good success in your career, I think, anyway. You know, with Blue Bottle Kiss, you know, and stuff on high rotation. You've toured Australia. You've played at major festivals. You've gone to America, South by Southwest. You've had many highs and many lows. But with your music, you keep writing music. You keep bringing out really good music. What keeps you driving to make music?
Yeah, I kind of just feel a bit empty if I'm not making music. It's a real balm, you know. It's like I feel. I don't know, it's like being really starving and wanting to get something to eat. I get hungry for it after a while. If I'm not creating something new, I just feel just a bit dissatisfied. I mean, I have to be patient, you know, a lot of the time, and you know, there's heaps of other things in life that are fulfilling and that you got to make sure you invest in as well. But it's just something that's always there at in the background. It just gives life, to me, it gives life extra meaning. I mean, not everybody's like that, obviously, but for me, I think if it wasn't playing music, I'd be the same with something else creative. You know, when I was a kid, I was always mucking around with writing stories or doing drawings. It's just a bit of an urge.
So, do you need fulfillment? Like, do you need to get people to give you credit, you know, when you're writing music? Not credit, but just, is it good to have that response when you're writing music as well? Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
I think it makes you better as well. Like, I know with singing, I didn't have a natural singing voice when I started. I was just having a go, and I was a pretty shy person, so I found it really, really difficult, but I just kind of hacked away at it. And when Blue Bottle Kiss first started performing, I think I improved so much as a singer because I was doing it publicly, and it really fast tracks your musicianship. You improve so quickly when you have the pressure of playing in front of an audience, and also the feedback of the audience encourages you or gives you an idea of what's working and what isn't. So it's kind of it's really a mutual thing, like a two-way street. And I mean, like, it's like sometimes people go, oh, you know, people think that that they like my lyrics, and they go, you should write a book, or, you know, you'd be a good published author or whatever. And it's like that. I know I love reading, and it's incredibly intimidating, the idea of writing a book. But one of the reasons I don't think I could find the energy to do it is because I probably wouldn't have an audience. You know, you'd invest all that time, and you'd have a manuscript sitting in your dresser drawer, you know, where it does help me keep motivated when I do something like a crowdfunding campaign and people actually get in contact and they're expecting and they're waiting for it. It gives you an extra incentive. Like, it helps motivate you. It's encouraging.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Yeah, speaking of the crowdfunding, so your new music, you know, everything's kind of vinyl is the big selling thing right now as well, as opposed to MP3s, I suppose. I don't know if it's the same with you, but with the crowdfunding, you know, was the vinyl release a big draw card for people as well? Or is that the new way that music is getting sold now, as opposed to just people free downloading?
I think if people are going to buy it, there's definitely an audience for vinyl. There's a bunch of people that really want it on vinyl, and I think it excites them, the idea that it'll be on vinyl. But
right.
you know, as you know, it's really super expensive format, and you know, I was just over in Western Australia, and I had a couple of indie bands who opened both nights, and you know, their stuff's all on vinyl, but you know, they're small bands that can't get out of Perth, and so they've got all these vinyl records just sitting around. It's cost them a fun. This is the thing, is like, it's not really worth doing unless you know people are going to buy them. It's really like, there'll always be people that are really keen, but it's a matter of how many. It's much safer.
They're not buying $500 of vinyl.
it's much safer to to do it on CD or as a download, but it's so it's a bit of a luxury in vinyl. But I mean, I have got a big enough audience to probably justify it, but it's difficult to just do it on a whim, because you never really know. But I'd say 50% of people really like it. There's still people have told me that CDs are dead, no one's buying them, but because I've been making music since the 90s, there's people that are a certain age that listen to my music, a lot of them, and they you know, when I'm doing merch and stuff, it's like they're still buying CDs. People say that they don't, but they still do. I still buy them too. Like, I like listening to CDs in the car. So I buy a bit of both, but I find it's about half and half. And a lot of people buy direct downloads as well.
Okay. Yeah. With the new album, you know, it's called BEDSIT. It's, you know, the title seems apt for me. It's just, I know, BEDSIT, just like a one-bedroom little house, kind of little self-contained little house, and it's to me, it's a very raw album. There's a lot of space, I think, in the album, stripped back. You know, it's just you and a bass and piano, I suppose, and a harp in one of them. But the way you went about it, did you want it to be really stripped back? And it's almost like clipping out sometimes, or not clipping out, but you know, and you can also hear sirens in one of the songs. I don't know what song it is, but
yeah,
is that what you were going for? That minimalistic sound?
It's just very unfussy in the way I recorded it. I always reckon when you record stuff to tape, it generally sounds good anyway. And there's a certain way I record stuff so that it's recorded to tape pretty loud, which sort of has a particular sound which verges on distortion, which is an older sort of sound. A lot of really old records you hear back in the mid-60s, a lot of the soul records and so forth in particular, the whole band would be playing in the one room, and they'd have to position the mics really strategically to try and get as good quality sound they could. And this is people that were kind of like the, you know, top 40 sort of artists, so they weren't doing it on purpose. They weren't trying to get some lo-fi sound, you know, they were trying to be as slick as they could, but they could never balance it perfectly with limited amount of microphones and so forth. So you would always get distortion on those recordings. And to me, I love that distortion. It's a distortion with a bit of spring reverb. It's a very vintage kind of sound. So I'm quite happy for that to kind of happen. And the shed we recorded it at, that's really remote. And so there's not a lot of noise, but there's a bit of bird noise and stuff like that, and you can hear that on the songs. I did a little bit of recording in my flat at the time, which is where the siren sort of is there.
Right.
It's not like I don't manufacture that incidental noise. It's not like I'm like, okay, I want to. It's just, but if it's there, to me, it's like an extra instrument. There's like there's a song I recorded at Sophie's flat, which is just piano and vocal, and in headphones, in one of the pauses, you hear a car very quietly go past, but it's sort of haunting. It gives it this weird juxtaposition between like the outside world, something totally alien from the inside world of the record. It's like kind of like you're looking through a window at someone creating something, but there's an element of the distance of the outside world happening at the same time.
Yeah, nice. With the album, this album, BEDSIT, to me, there's a bit more storytelling in this album. You were talking before about writing books and stuff, but this album seems to be a bit more storytelling. Do you deal on these stories by life experiences or more observations? And have you ever woken up with your feet covered in blocks of ice?
I mean, it's sort of metaphorical. They're kind of, a lot of it's, a lot of it, or even most of it, but I don't like kind of just handing over a diary entry or whatever. There's sort of symbolism that, it's kind of me kind of putting a bit of a smoke screen up, I'll be talking about stuff that I've experienced, but I'll do it through story or through symbolism sometimes rather than just telling it straight. Yo. So the last question, Jamie, is so what have you got planned for the future with music and writing and touring? Yeah, so after this tour, which takes me all through April, I'm looking at maybe doing some shows at the Parlour, so some house shows, and but then 3 of the acts I'm associated with outside of my solo stuff, Infinity Broke, The Tall Grass, and Mark Muldray, who I play guitar for and produce and stuff. All 3 bands have been invited to the Binnick Folk Blues Festival in the north of France in late July. So we'll do a big farewell show, and then we've got probably about 7 shows over there. Just doing a really flat out week over there. I'll be playing kind of 2 or 3 gigs a day, those bands. So doing that, and then I haven't planned beyond that. I might there's quite a few songs left over from BEDSIT, so I might like do a small EP and do another, like a really basic sort of another tour, something really simple, just to keep the record alive for a while. And I'd say creatively the next thing I'd be trying to concentrate on, if we can get all 4 of us in the room, is trying to get some new Infinity Broke stuff learnt by the band. Sort of demoed an album's worth of stuff, which Scott and Ruben have contributed on a bit. I need to get Jared involved and try and get enough material to do another album, but that could take forever.
Be good to get back into the rock stage of things. Throw away the
I mean, I think the Infinity Broke stuff, that was 2 albums worth. We went overseas, we did 2 national tours. It was pretty much playing pretty noisy shows for a couple of years. So it was kind of nice to come off the back of that with the Tall Grass and solo thing. I always like doing both. Yeah, it's just really hard, as you know, to have a band. Like it's so hard to get everybody together at 7 p.m. On the other side of Sydney through all the traffic, and then everyone's got to get up for work in the morning and get, and some people have got babies, and it's just a bit of a nightmare.
Rock and roll.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for talking to me, Jamie. Congratulations on the new album BEDSIT by Jamie Hutchings, and we'll see you in Nambour in Queensland in a couple of weeks. Yeah, cool. Sounds good. Thanks again, mate. Best of luck.
Thanks, Josh.
See you, mate. Bye.